Hi everybody, this is Cinema Steve, and today what we're gonna discuss is shutter speeds.
Ain't no ceilings in my building, cause we coming up, double cup, you don't feel us, get hit with an uppercut.
Now first and foremost, what the shutter is, that's the third component when it comes to exposure. For example, on a DSLR, if you have your shutter way too high, above 120, your image is gonna get darker. When you have it below 50, it starts getting brighter. The problem is, if you don't know what you're going for, you're not gonna get the shot that you want. Now, in the cinema world, the shutter is gonna be at 180. The higher the number, the brighter it is. The lower the number, the darker it is. So we shoot at 180 degrees. And for DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, when it comes to cinema, you're really gonna shoot in the 50. So I know for both it sounds like the opposite. So right now we're just going to talk about cinema cameras. And you're just gonna start realizing it's the same idea for DSLR, although the numbers are opposite, but just hear me out. So the shutter for a cinema camera, it's pretty much a disc. It's a mirror, and the higher the number, it means the more opened it is. Think of it like a pie. The lower the number, the more closed it is. And that's pretty much the degrees of the circle that it's opened. When there's a small degrees, let's say like 90, that means a little bit of light is coming in. However, you're gonna get a much sharper image. Darker, but sharper. You're gonna get the same look as Saving Private Ryan. Now, when you have it more open, you have way more motion blur. So you could pretty much have a dreamy sequence kind of feel to it for your scene. But again, it really depends what you're going for, and you should know what you're going for and how to achieve it. If you do the complete opposite, you're gonna be frustrated, and this is why I'm doing a tutorial so you guys can see.
Okay, so in this example, I had the shutter angle pretty low, like 90. And one thing that you're gonna notice, like, yeah, we have that Saving Private Ryan look, but with cameras that have a rolling shutter, whenever you change the shutter angle, allowing less light, everything is gonna have that jello effect. And as a filmmaker, you wanna stay away from that. Cameras that don't do this have what's called global shutter. And those are like the really high-end, expensive cameras. And as you can see here, we have that somewhat of a dreamy sequence. Not so much dreamy, but there's definitely more motion blur than normal. And so the shutter angle on this one, I had it at 360.
So just in case for some of you that are beginners and you're not understanding, and you might not even have a cinema camera, so I'm gonna go ahead and explain it for a DSLR. To achieve the motion blur and the dreamy sequence, you're gonna wanna go below 50. When your shutter speed is at a 30, that's when you're gonna achieve a lot of motion blur. For the sharper, intense action kind of feel to it, you're gonna wanna go higher than 100. So if you do 120 or even higher than that, you're definitely gonna achieve this look. It's gonna get darker, so you're gonna have to compensate. You might compensate by the aperture, you might compensate by the ISO, or ND filters, and maybe some extra lighting. Shutter speed does not affect depth of field at all. So between aperture, ISO, and shutter, you really have to understand what you're going for, what you're about to shoot, and how to compensate. Now, I do have other videos on ISO and aperture. So if you watch the 3 of these and you begin to practice, you're gonna start seeing the difference. The more you practice it, the more you're gonna understand it. I was new at it at one point, and you know, I was struggling as well until I just kept, you know, repeatedly practicing it. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe and leave comments below, and stay tuned for more videos. Till next time, guys.